Shein finally decide that they're looking to list on the London Stock Exchange. Meanwhile, Amazon make a move to counter the gains made by Chinese discount marketplaces. Tesco partner up to become a retail media juggernaut, whilst Frasers Group and THG partner in a complex deal with many elements in scope. All of this and more in today's show. Welcome to the very first episode of The Retail Show. Thank you so much for joining me. By way of introduction, who am I? My name is Oliver Banks. I'm your host here on The Retail Show. I'm a retail transformation specialist, working with retailers to tackle complex challenges and drive meaningful transformation of the business model, operating model, and customer proposition. I also host another podcast, The Retail Transformation Show, now with 300 episodes under the belt. Plus, I'm a LinkedIn top voice for retail. I'm recognised as a top retail expert from Rethink Retail. I'm a retail tech influencer from RTIH. And now I'm a top 10 retail thought leader from Thinkers 360. And I'm also the author of the best-selling book, Driving Retail Transformation, How to Navigate Disruption and Change. So that's a little bit about me. You can find out much more on LinkedIn, so head on over there if we're not already connected. But I'm really excited to be launching this new podcast, and I'm super thankful that you are here with me right at the start. This is going to be exciting, and it's going to develop over time, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, if you enjoy what you are going to hear in just a moment, I'd really appreciate your help to share news about the show. Help me get this out to a bigger, wider audience. Share it with colleagues. Send it to your contacts. Post about it on social media. I would be so thankful. But what are you going to hear? Let me give you a little overview and some of my thinking about the show. The overall premise is to blend useful news with relevant views. In the first part of the show, we're going to be looking at the top news headlines that demonstrate how the world of retail is changing and evolving week by week. If you've been a reader of my Retail Transformation Briefing newsletter, you already know the style that this is going to be in. There are loads of news stories every single week, and whilst they're very interesting, it's not always clear what they mean and what they mean for you. So this section, where we dive into the news, is affectionately called News You Can Use. And thank you and kudos to Mrs. B for that one. I'll be sharing news and perspectives, and I'm going to be sharing a thought-provoking question or an actionable item for you to take away from each story. Now, I can't promise every single story is going to have something relevant for you, but that's my goal. And then in the second part of the show, we're going to be looking at a number of different features and segments. This is going to change week to week. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be flexible. And it's going to help you understand more about the retail market. You're busy. I get it. And my aim is to help give you more flavour in your crazy busy world. And then additionally, look out for bonus episodes of the show from time to time where we'll be diving into specific topics and reviewing the retail market as a whole. Overall, I want the retail show to be your go-to source to help keep you up to speed with retail. I want it to be fast-paced. I want it to be fresh. I want it to be actionable. And so, without further ado, let's get going. News you can use. Shein have filed paperwork for a listing on the London Stock Exchange. Shein's IPO has been one of the most hotly anticipated listings of recent time, with lots of speculation about where the listing is going to happen. But it's been revealed that at the beginning of June, they filed their application paperwork in London. It's forecast that the initial flotation is going to be around £50 billion. And whilst it's not 100% confirmed that this is going ahead, it does look like it's going to happen. Strengthening ties between China and the UK is going to be an inevitability here, in my view. But I also think it's fantastic to have one of the fastest growing retailers right now recognise the UK as a progressive place to home a retail business. It won't surprise you to find out that Shein has got its fair share of critics in the retail industry, many questioning its cost base and how they can afford to sell garments at such low costs, as well as the environmental impact of the ultra-fast fashion and disposable nature of the product. But it may be that with an IPO on the cards, there'll be a need for increased governance, and that may legitimise Shein a lot more. There's going to be more visibility, more awareness. And so my question to you is, how are you going to cope with Shein in the market if they can demonstrate that legitimacy, if they can demonstrate the ethical business that they run? Or do you think when it comes down to customers, that sort of stuff sounds great, but it doesn't really change decision making? Amazon are absolutely one of the companies that recognise the threat posed by Shein and Temu as well. And in response, they are planning to launch a discount marketplace. Now, Amazon, of course, already very successful in running a marketplace, but in this new venture, it seems that goods are going to ship directly from suppliers in China. Now, whilst they've not announced many of the details yet, including their policy on import taxes, it suggests that when importing, particularly to the US, they're going to be able to bypass the current import taxes by shipping in items as individual parcels to customers. Is this a case of, if you can't beat them, join them? And if so, where do we draw the line? Where do we begin to balance ethics and profits? And what happens when eventually taxation systems catch up to all of these various tax loopholes, for example, import tax, and start to tighten it up? And if the business is viable because of those loopholes, because of those laws, what happens when they change? In big retail media news, Tesco have agreed a partnership with Group M, the world's largest media buying business. Now, Tesco and Group M have been working together for a long time, but this deal they're calling as a landmark deal. It covers media both online and in store, and in particular, it's calling out the Tesco Connected Store, which, if you're not already aware, is an initiative that offers multiple touch points and opportunities to connect brands with customers during the in-store shopping journey. It includes things like digital screens and signage. It includes printed point of sale. And it even includes elements like in-store radio. As part of the partnership, Group M will access Tesco's Media and Insights platform, adding in a ton of data to really level up the detail that they can go into, making each media investment more likely to convert, more profitable for the brands. And it also includes much more collaboration, closer strategic planning. It includes education of the organisation and for brands as well. And this move is really going to level up Tesco as a bigger retail media network than they already are. And meanwhile, Group M gets access to the leading retail media opportunities in the UK. So could this partnership represent a significant step forward for retail media networks and innovation within that area? And does it actually set a new precedent for strategic collaboration between two companies? So consider what a long-term partnership really means to you and how it can be truly two-way, not just a one-way exchange of goods and services for cash. Speaking of partnerships, THG and Frasers have come up with a new partnership deal that's going to last for many years and brings in many different facets of both businesses. THG and Frasers Group individually are both really big businesses. They're group businesses with lots of different elements to them. And I think it's fascinating to see these two companies coming together and beginning to share their specialities and the opportunities. Elements of the THG Ingenuity platform are going to be blended into the Frasers Group, including aspects like courier management, as well as fulfillment and logistics systems. In exchange, Frasers Plus credit offering will be integrated into THG's Ingenuity platform, making it easy for THG brands, as well as THG Ingenuity customers, to start offering this new payment solution. Additionally, luxury retailer Coggles is going to be transferred from THG to Frasers as part of the deal. Frasers, of course, have got a luxury element led by Flannels as part of their group. And we've also got elements like THG's MyProtein brand, which will start to be stocked at Sports Direct. So there's lots of different elements here, and we're going to see these two brands working much more closely together. And so, like in the last story, thinking about Tesco, I'd really ask you to consider what partnerships are you currently looking at right now, and how could you level them up? How could you make this a real partnership, not just a working relationship? Clothing retailer Matalan have focused on selling items at full price and have seen a great increase in profitability. Selling items at full price has got its downside. They've seen reduced sales, down 6%. But by focusing on protecting the gross margin, as well as making operational efficiencies across the business, they've seen their EBITDA grow by 92%. That is massive. 92%. Well done, Matalan. That's a fantastic result. And in particular, what I love about this is the focus on full price. We know that continual promotions and discounting can damage the bottom line, but we also know that they are super effective at increasing sales. But this means it's a hard drug to get off, especially when you end up lapping your annual results, your year-on-year results. And you know that last year there was a fantastic promotion and sales went through the roof. Maybe profit didn't, but sales did. And then you get tasked on avoiding a hugely adverse result when looking at year-on-year or like-for-like results. And this is a really good example of a company that is getting off the promo drugs with positive results. And it's easy to say that, but of course it's very difficult when you're talking about real numbers and in real situations. And it's also difficult to trial, because if you just choose some selected lines to sell at full price and avoid the discounts, all it does is it redirects the more bargain hunting customers to different products in the range. You also have to overcome the brand being seen as a discount-led retailer and train customers in the long term to start to see you as a viable full price option. So well done, Matalan. Keep protecting that GM and keep driving the business forward. And a point to take away and consider right now for you is if you recognize that you are on that discount cycle, that reliance on keeping on promoting almost continually, right? How can you put in place a trial across whole categories to start to shift perception? Or how can you bite the bullet and say, you know what, we need to keep our gross margins at a certain level. We can't be doing this discounting, and we need to recognize that sales are going to drop as a result, but in the knowledge that our bottom line will potentially explode like Matalan have demonstrated. Danish retailer Netto are preparing a major rollout of smart digital labels powered by the Vusion Group. By leaning into electronic shelf-edge labels, they're looking to streamline operations and ensure good price integrity. Recently, we've seen lots of retailers double down on electronic shelf labels, most notably Walmart, who announced a major deal in this area. And it seems that electronic shelf labels are finally now tipping over into a viable option, especially in the grocery sector. So you should be considering if electronic shelf labels are viable for you. And remember that if you're building a business case to prove that viability, it's not just about one benefit. It's not just about the productivity saving of swapping labels. The technology has really developed in leaps and bounds in recent years, and there are so many different facets to unlock through digital labels. And when you start to bring all of these together, perhaps you will find a clear recommendation about whether this technology is going to be right for your business. So lots of great stories there in the news this week, and I've got one more which might bring a smile to your face. But before we get there, I'd like to introduce you to the first of our segments, and this is a section called The Shopping Trip. The premise here is to inspire you with new or innovative or leading retail experiences. Now, perhaps this is in store, maybe it's online, or across any and all channels. And really, the idea is to review and share the great work that's been done to drive customer experience, to boost the colleague experience, and hopefully drive business performance as well. And in the shopping trip segment, we're going to be zooming into one retailer. And for this inaugural show, I couldn't help but choose the Art of Banksy. Banksy is an iconic artist, a mysterious artist. It may or may not be me. I couldn't possibly confirm that. It's not, I'm afraid. But the Art of Banksy is basically transferring this iconic art into an exhibition and a retail store. Now, I didn't visit the exhibition, but I had a good look at the store itself and the merchandise in particular. And frankly, I thought it was wonderful merchandise. It has a great on-brand feel and really represents a range of the instantly recognisable pieces. The Art of Banksy is in London, and it's situated in a former Made store that feels fitting to be unmade and repurposed, as Banksy often does with his art. So what worked well? Firstly, Banksy's art, as I've mentioned, is really recognisable, and the store does a fantastic job of bringing this into a retail setting. For example, a 3D statue of the flower-throwing masked man. And that's then translated inside the store with interesting furniture and fittings. For example, shopping baskets welded together into different arches and different shapes. But for me, the number one win was on their merchandise, the products themselves. They were so on brand and really, frankly, minimising the irrelevant tat that can often work their way into the gift shops and retail stores of equivalent experiences. So, for example, some bags of sweets, but heart sweets, branded with the girl with the heart balloon, next to banana sweets, branded with the policeman with the banana. There were collectors' books detailing more about some of the different pieces so you could take home an element of that art. So I really liked how they had transferred the different pieces of art into relevant merchandise. So what would I change? Banksy's pieces are always based on the current moments and really represent many of the feelings and mood of the country or the audience. The artwork is edgy. It makes a statement. But I felt that that statement was missing from the store and actually missing from the product as well. So many of the elements of the artwork have been designed to recognise and stand up for an important ethical or human issue. But despite what I just said about the product being great and on brand, it almost simplified some of the artwork into just being a character. It's a girl with the balloon. Isn't that funny? I also felt that the store would really benefit from having a unique statement piece, perhaps its own Banksy artwork. Although admittedly, I did not go to the exhibition, so perhaps it was in there. But overall, I thought the Art of Banksy was a great retail experience. Really novel, really unique, So if you appreciate Banksy's art and you're in London, then head on down there. Well worth a visit. To paint a better picture than I can with my words, head on over to theretailshow.uk and you can find the notes for this episode, and I'll include some photos for you to understand better. So go to the website theretailshow.uk. That's theretailshow.uk. Now we're beginning to come to the end of the show. I do hope that you have enjoyed tuning in. Please do subscribe to the show. And I would love your support to help grow it at this very early stage. Firstly, if you've not already done so, hit that subscribe button in your usual podcast app and make sure that you tune in every single week. I would love it if you could offer a short review, which will help other people to discover the show. And in particular, I'd be so appreciative if you can help share the word. Recommend to colleagues or to contacts that they should tune in to this show. And please write a post on LinkedIn. Maybe reflect on your favourite or the most compelling story from the News You Can Use section. And tag me in. I'd be really excited to hear your thoughts and perspectives. And so, to wrap up the show, we're going to be taking a look at a story that is perhaps a little unique. Maybe it puts a smile on your face. Maybe it gives you the warm and fuzzies inside. I'm sure you realise that Prime Day is arriving in just a couple of weeks now, on the 16th and 17th of July. Or if you're in Singapore, it's extending to 6 days. Still Prime Day though. Now, many retailers have already announced plans to hold sales and promotions to retain market share. But perhaps the most interesting piece of news about Prime Day was that Amazon are partnering with the rapper Megan Thee Stallion to release a song ahead of the big commerce event. Yep, it's a rap song about Prime Day. As a fellow retail enthusiast, I'm sure you'll appreciate some of the lyrics and lines, with everything from "with just one click, you could have anything," representing Amazon's broad range. And the concluding chorus really is, "It's Prime Day, start clicking. It's Prime Day, sign up to be a member if you want free shipping." It sounds a lot better when Megan does it, if I'm honest. And to make it easy, I'm going to put the music video on the website, theretailshow.uk. So head on over there. Much better than me doing it. And of course, if you're a retailer and you're thinking about, well, how can we have a rap star do a promo video for us? Maybe, just saying here, maybe you should check out episode 270 of my other podcast, The Retail Transformation Show, where I do a rap. Yep. So go and see if I'm the right fit for you. I'm going to be really tentatively waiting by my phone because I'm sure it's going to be ringing off the hook. So get in there quick. Or maybe not. I'll let you decide. But thanks so much for joining me here on the very first episode of The Retail Show. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Please do share it and tag me in when you share it on LinkedIn. Bye for now.